Chris Perez is back, man. What's going on, Chris? How you doing, man?
I'm good. It's always good to come down and
go ahead and get near the mic there, man.
It's always good to come down and visit with the Valley peeps, you know.
I was saying the other day, bro, that you were down and we're hanging out at a bar, and you had mentioned, you know, that you wanted to get your band back together, man, and that you were feeling like, you know, it's about time you came back to the Rio Grande Valley to perform.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since you performed down here, bro. How long has that been, bro?
Oh man, I don't even know. It's been years and years, but I was talking to somebody earlier and I said, but probably the best show that my band's ever had was here in the Valley.
Well, I was at one of them when you first started the project, right?
Yeah.
You were doing a club tour, and
right.
One of the clubs was down here on North 10th Street, and I remember hanging out there, and I do remember some of it.
Oh, back then.
Yeah, dude. Because we're partying hard, man. We're like, man, mad props to Motley Crue and Guns N' Roses and all those dudes, man. Because we're partying. There's a picture out there where I have a guitar pick stuck on my forehead, you know what I mean? And I'm wasted, and your bass player is next to me on that picture. So that had to be the night that you performed over here at this club. What's your bass player's name?
That was Adriel.
Adriel, yeah. He's in the band, right?
Well, he was. We did one show together, but you know, you were talking about when I was telling you about getting the band back together. Mm-hmm. It was one of those things to where so much time had passed, you know, and I would compare it to somebody you haven't hung out with since you were kids, right? Mm-hmm. And then you run into them after a long time, and they still seem like, you know, like you remember them a certain way, but then when you're hanging and you're talking with them, they're still the way that they were, but it kind of like you realize the change between the two of you, you know, whether you want to call it growth or not growth or whatever it is, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so much time had passed with my band, and since I'd put it together, since we were on tour with my Nine, with the Warp Tour, the Watch Out Tour, all this other stuff, and I didn't realize, man, a lot of the things that made it difficult, you know what I mean, that I was doing to, not only to myself, but that I was trying to carry a lot of the load, mm-hmm. and thinking, because I grew up, you know, with that Van Halen mentality. So if you were in a room with me when I wrote a song, chances are I was going to give you songwriting credit. Because remember Van Halen, everything was Alex, Mike.
The whole band.
Yes, mm-hmm. everything. And so
David Lee Roth.
I just thought that's Michael. How it was, you know, and so fast forward a few years to where I decided to dissolve that, because I just, dude, it stressed me out, and I just thought maybe I wasn't cut out to be a band leader, you know what I mean? Because my only experience in any kind of successful band before that was with Selena, mm-hmm. you know, and we were a hardcore team, you know, and everybody carried their own weight. I just didn't see it like that yet.
But there was a sense of leadership in there as well, right? Who was the leader there?
I would say AB was like AB was the guy that kind of harnessed all the power in mm-hmm. that band, you know, because like he knew how to get my strengths out there, and if I was going too far, he knew when to pull me back. The same, he would do the same for Joel Heather. He would do the same for Ricky Vela, you know. And
he was a music director.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, he. I think.
And that was your position in your band, right? You were the ones calling the shots. You were doing what AB was doing with Selena then, right?
Right.
And it was a little bit different because you had never done that. But I'm sure you had a sense of excitement, bro, getting involved in that and doing that, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it was. Like, I thought I was doing it right, mm-hmm. right? I always thought I was doing the right thing. And it wasn't until I dissolved that thing, and what happened was we had a big show. And again, you Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue, all that thing. You think it's the way to be, right?
Yeah.
And I'm guilty of it myself. I'm not putting any more blame on any one of my guys in the band than I would put on myself, right? But we had a show in Corpus, and it was at Bayfest. And
what year was this? About 2000, 98?
Early 2000s.
Okay.
Early 2000s. Yeah. And we had a show in Corpus, and I have a lot of family and friends there, obviously, because I lived there for so long, right, when I was married to Selena, and for quite some time after that. And so I left after the show, right? I told all the guys, all right, man, I'll see you later. John Garza, who's still my singer, he lived in Corpus, born, raised, all that good stuff. So he went his way, I went my way, and we left the guys in the band to go to the hotel and do what they do. So the next morning, I called the hotel to talk to the guys and make sure everything was cool, and they banned us, dude, from freaking Ramada Inns. You know what I mean? And I said, well, you know what happened?
Yeah.
And they said, you know, there was a bunch of fights, and there was a bunch of people in the hallways, and fights in the elevators, and people, you know, they were just being stupid.
It was chaotic.
At that point, yeah, and it wasn't. It's funny now, but at that point, I was like, I've had it, man. I can't do this. You know what I mean? I just can't. It's wearing me down. And I called my singer John, and I was like, dude, this is what just happened, right? And I told him what happened. He was like, what the? You know, so what are you going to do? I said, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I said, if you want to be a part of the next project I work on, that's fine. Me and you, we're tight. We write together. We hang together. We're cool. He's not a problem. And he kind of leveled me out at the time, was when I was really crazy. And, you know, he's like, yeah, I want to go with you. So I called all the guys and I said, I'm done with the band. And Adriel says, this is what the guys told me, that Adriel, yeah, he calls all the guys and he goes, man, that, you know, we got to keep going. We got to, you know, we'll just get another guitar player. We'll play. And they're like, are you stupid? This is the Chris Pettis band. Like, what are you talking about? You know? And it was, for me, I couldn't do it anymore. You know, it was way too stressful. And again, I didn't know what I was doing to myself at the time. And it wasn't until recently, because, you know, I learned so much. I went back to recording. I always recorded on every one of the Kings albums, the Cumbia Kings, right? So Abe and I stayed in contact and whatever. And I remember we were working on the Cuatro album, which had Insomnio, which is one of the riffs that I wrote that ended up on there. And it had, I think the big one was No Tengo Dinero.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that Juan Gabriel song.
Yeah, I was recording the guitars for that record, and he came by the studio. And, you know, we visited, and I told him, man, I said, I broke my band up. I said, I couldn't handle it. And he goes, like, real nonchalant, and he goes, dude, don't worry about it, man. He's like, why don't you just come on the road with me, get away from everything, and just do what you do, you know, and till you figure it out. One of us, I don't know how many years freaking passed before, you know, because I just stayed there.
Time goes by fast, bro.
Yeah, and
you get into something, and it's like, it's not going to be for a week, you know? And
yeah.
Before you knew it, you were, what, 10 years with Cumbia Kings?
Well, they lasted a few more years as that incarnation of the band, but then I'm still not clear on the drama that happened between Cruz and AB, and
yeah,
and then
there's plenty of it.
AB called me and he's like, I'm done. Yeah, I'm done. I'm going off the road.
Yeah.
And so I was like, wait, okay, if you're done, I'm done. I'm not gonna go play with those guys if you're not there, you know. And we started putting another project together, and that ended up becoming the Cumbia All-Stars with Pee Wee.
Yeah.
And so then that, you know, a lot of people already know that history and that track record and how many years we did that. I don't know, it was quite a few years. And so all this time I'm learning, right? And I didn't really think so. I was like, I've been there, done that, whatever. So when I decided or had the idea, I was talking to John on the phone, and I said, hey, man, you know, he was telling me, I'm going to do some acoustic stuff. I think I'm going to be going up to San Antonio. I said, if you do, call me, let me know. I'll show up with an acoustic, and we'll play a couple of the tunes off Resurrection. And then it hit me. I said, it sounds like a movie. Why don't we get the band back together, right? Why don't we get the band back together? And dude, and we talked about it for a minute. And then I said, you know what? I'm just going to put a group text together, and I'm going to hit the guys in the band up. I
bet they were shocked when they saw that text, dude. It's like, what, out of the blue, dude? You know,
I wrote the text. Yeah, I wrote the text, and I hit send, and dude, right away my phone, bling. There's my drummer, bling. There's my bass player, bling. There, you know what I mean? Everybody starts hitting me back. I'm down, and I said, well, I guess we're doing it right, and I was excited. And it was almost like, I don't know, serendipity. Like the next day I get a call, and these calls start coming in wanting the Chris Pettis band to play in different places. So we picked one because I wanted to just see how it was going to go.
Mm-hmm. Was it the Houston show?
Yeah, which was awesome. We had a lot of fun. But I'll tell you what, though, man, I'm not gonna lie. The first time I walked, we had our first rehearsal as a band, right? Same guys, except for the drummer, because the guy that I ended, who was on drums when I ended it the first time, he wasn't the original guy anyway. So when I got everybody back together and we went to rehearsals, man, I walked into the room and we started playing, and I thought to myself, now I know why. Now I know why I quit this shit, this stuff the first time, because certain people are like, they think it's Guns N' Roses all over again.
Yeah.
But I had grown. I'm not saying I'm perfect by any means, but there's a time and a place for everything, right?
Yeah.
And I don't feel like rehearsals are
just remind them that the Guns N' Roses guys are vegetarians now. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
And they're working out every day and drinking, lactose intolerant.
No, I mean, but you know how it is. You grow up around that stuff, and you think that's the way to behave, in a silly way, in an immature way, that people are going to take you more serious if you can handle the drugs and the women and the alcohol and still deliver on the musical side of things. But what I found out is that, that doesn't help. As a matter of fact, it hurts. Can you imagine how much better it would have been if they hadn't been?
It disturbs the consistency. Every show's going to be different, and not all of them are going to be good.
Right.
And when you're not on that type of train, your chances are every show's going to be damn good. Because there's no inconsistencies with something that's like messing with your brain or changing your whole attitude or mindset as well.